We are red. Red is on.
Okay, good evening and welcome to the Thursday, August 23rd, 2018 Selectmen's meeting. First thing is call to order and pledge allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Come back.
Okay, so, well, first thing in order is to welcome Joe Jessman aboard, Selectman until the next election. And thanks for stepping forward. Felt this evening we had great candidates. That was Joyce, by the way.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And
I'm sorry, Gail.
Second is to wish Gail a happy birthday.
happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Gail.
Happy birthday, Gail.
Happy birthday to you.
Does it work now?
It does. Never thought you'd make it to
We won't
25.
sing.
Move along.
Yeah,
We won't sing.
it's an anniversary of her 29th birthday.
That's right.
If I had a nice voice, I would sing.
The next thing is, do some good minutes here.
No minutes, sorry.
No minutes.
We've been a little disrupted this week with the renovations.
Really?
A little bit.
Okay, and so we've got a rescheduled 8:30, the first impressions update. So I guess the next thing on the agenda, we're going to pull up the 515 Director of Public Works. So what do you plan to fit into that slot? So, is it public, non-public?
Whatever
You guys, I don't have a problem either way.
So it should be public,
Okay.
because it says good.
Okay, so we have Brock, who is moving on from his position, Director of Public Works, and we just want to go over some things with him and find out where things are and any other information that is needed. So you have the floor.
Before we get going, I've done pretty much everything I can to get it organized for whoever steps into the position.
Microphone.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hello? Pretty loud anyway, I'm pretty sure. The sand quote is in my, everything will be in an envelope on my desk for whoever steps in, so they can know who to call to get the sand, who to call for salt. The salt's already been set up online, so you can order all your salt right online. You don't have to mess around with it. Pretty much everything's been explained. I'll have work lined up for the guys for a couple of weeks, so they have stuff to keep them busy until you guys can figure out what's what. And pretty much, other than that, everything's in good shape. My keys are with Peter, with the ones that we actually use still. Like my gate key and whatnot. We don't use a door key anymore. It's all key code now. So the keys I gave to Peter, so he has a set of keys. Tim has my credit card, my town credit card. I already turned that in. I'll leave my phone. We'll be at the shop tomorrow after I head out, so that's all there for everybody. And yeah, I think the trees are all ordered. All you gotta do is somebody's gonna grab them, and when you're ready to put them in, put them in. Let me see what else.
Who's going to be checking your email?
That's up to you guys. I mean, Kevin can cover it for now and put out where he needs to put out.
Peter's not online yet, he's the foreman.
What's that? And Peter?
He's
But
not
Peter's
online.
Peter's not online, and, but I can give Peter my stuff, so he can, so he knows, I'll write all that stuff down for him. I'm gonna make it as easy of a transition for him as I can. I mean, and if there's a question, they all have my number, they can call me if they need anything. It's not gonna be like that, if somebody has a question, call. I don't have a problem with that. And that being said, it was going to be a big to-do, but I think I'm just going to walk out knowing that when I started here in 2016, since I've started here in the last 2 years, I think I've completely turned that building around down there and really done a lot of good for the town of Tilton in my 2 years that I've been here, and kind of like to keep it that way when I leave. So
Thank you for your
thanks for
service.
everything. And then if you got questions, we might as well get them out now.
Why are you leaving?
Huh?
Why are you leaving?
Well, we might want to. No,
If you want to go into non-public, we can do that.
no, it's fine. I'm not gonna. There's not names.
Okay.
It's when you guys hired me to do the job, I was brought in as the professional to do the job, and this is just my opinion and my feeling on it. There's a lot of different opinions that sit here on how things work, and that's fine. That's how things operate. But I came here to be the director of public works and to run the department, and I don't feel as though that's completely how it works all the time. I'm not saying that it's all bad, but there's a lot of stuff that could be a lot different that would help out the town, and I tried to get it to that to that point at some points, but sometimes it's difficult when too many people have different opinions about things. It's nothing against anybody or anything like that, but I've got the opportunity to go and run my department. I will be the boss of the department. There will be nobody dictating where I'm going, what I'm doing. That will be on me, and they'll leave the best judgment up to me, being the department head, as to what needs to be done and how it needs to be done. And that's pretty much it. It's nothing, like I said, it's nothing.
If you were to institute a change here, what would be the number one change here that you would, to make it a better place for the next person to come?
Well, in all honesty, I think as a board, I think you guys need to step back and let the director do the directing. I really do. I think you're going to have a hard time finding somebody as a professional to go in and do the job, to not dictate, it's not the word I'm looking for, have so many different people in the pot, is what I'm saying. I mean, as far as everything else, it's good, but I also think that you guys should hire a building maintenance person, somebody that's what they do. They do the building maintenance, they change the light bulbs, they fix the lattice work at the park, they go down, they change lights, they help Catherine if they need something at the parks, they help the the Parks Commission and Conservation. And in the wintertime, they come in and they're working under the Director of Public Works, they plow the sidewalks, they take care of the snow shoveling, so it's a full-time. What you guys have for building and maintenance in the town of Tilton is a full-time job for somebody to do all the time. That is, and if you keep looking away from what's beyond the main street, it's going to fall in on you. It needs to be addressed. It really does. And I was trying to do that, but there's so much other stuff going on that it's just hard to do it all.
Kept pulling you away from it.
Pulling away and just to take a couple of guys off a ditching job up somewhere to save a road to go change a light bulb or fix it's just not. You need somebody for that. This town is Tilton's not getting any smaller, and it's evolving, so you kind of need to evolve with it. And right now you guys have the crew and the equipment to do this town all the justice it needs. They just need to let the director do the directing, and that's pretty much all I got to say.
That multi-one thing work on the sidewalks.
No, and I'm gonna be honest with you on that, it does the job, it really does do the job. You have to be patient with it, it does do the job. If hindsight being 2020, I probably would have bought a different snow blower to go with the multi-one. But that being said, you could go buy a new trackless snow blower for $200,000. Or you can use the multi-one, which is doing the job, it just takes a little bit longer, for 50 or 60. So it's,
And it doesn't come with the attachment.
yeah, and then you start putting the attachments that we have for the multi-one, and now you're upwards of who knows how much money for a big snow blower. That ours is doing the same thing, it just, you need to take your time with it. Leland, didn't have any trouble doing the sidewalks with it. But my priority in the wintertime is the roads. When the roads are done, we get to the sidewalks. That wasn't an issue, and we tried to get on just as fast as we could. But yes, in hindsight, I probably would do something different with just the snow blower, not the machine. The machine's fine, I would upgrade the snow blower. And when I purchased that, I had it outfitted so it will also take Bobcat attachments. So all you have to do is go in, I did that for just that reason. All you have to do is go in, purchase the snowblower will hook right up to the machine, and you go just like you're going now.
Isn't that a machine you use for seasons?
Yeah, we use it for everything. We use it for everything. I mean, we used it to rebuild the Riverfront Park walkways. We use it, the loader broke down Christmas Eve in the middle of an ice storm. We loaded trucks all night with that little thing. All night long, we loaded trucks with that and kept up with an ice storm.
It's like a Bobcat, so.
But it's more versatile because you can drive it down the road and go wherever you want with it. It's got the broom attachment. It cuts the sweeping instead of the guys out there with leaf blowers, and we sweep it with the machine now. I mean, it cuts that stuff
Did they
right.
take it from, no, we still have to have people do the roads around town.
We do the roads. Yeah, it's not big enough to do the roads.
Yeah.
It
Sidewalks.
does the sidewalks, it does the side streets and whatnot. And we didn't pay anything for it. I got it thrown in on one of the deals.
Yeah.
It was free. As far as I got,
From that.
so it was.
So, will you tell me what you see as being the next equipment purchase?
I think we're in good shape. I think you guys are gonna need to increase your line for the maintenance on stuff, because we're using the equipment a lot more. And when you use the stuff, you need to fix it. You need to keep it upgraded. I mean, I don't know exactly what so I'm not gonna say, but we've put probably double the mileage per year, and probably maybe even more than that, than what was being put on the trucks before. And we're using the trucks all year round now instead of during the winter.
Don't we have an international?
We have a 99 International, which is going to be all right for a little while, but you may want to start looking into replacing that, due to the fact that it's very hard to get parts for it. We had to search for, Kevin was looking forever to get a transmission for it. So with that being said, Kevin's going to pull it apart and rebuild the transmission, which he does. I mean, he does it. Don't ask me how, but he does it. So, but now the parts are pretty much obsolete you can get brake shoes and whatnot, but the stuff that breaks isn't brake shoes. Other than that, the Peterbilt's in terrific shape. The 99's in good shape. It's something that you're going to want to think about. Because at some point, if it does have a catastrophic failure, it's going to sit in there and not be worth anything.
What are your thoughts on the fire district and taking over the maintenance on their vehicles?
I've worked on that, and I believe where we're both Primex I was worried about the insurance. What would happen if a fire truck fell off the lift? What would happen if Kevin got hurt working on a fire truck? Who was gonna, but we're both Primex. The fire district is Primex, we're Primex, so in theory, it kinda all falls under the same insurance. So I think the insurance end of it, which was my big theory, was, my big worry is fine. And then the other thing is gonna be just overwhelming Kevin with. I can tell you right now, the police department takes up a lot of Kevin's time, a lot of it, keeping that stuff going. Just this past thing, I think he's done, 4 of the steering stems and all in the cruisers because of the humidity. There's no grease fit, they're unserviceable. There's no grease in them. The humidity that we've had gets in there and they rust up, and you can't steer the car. So he has to go in there and tear the front end out of it and change the steering stems in the cars. So, I mean, there's a lot of, I think as long as you leave Kevin in his cave, I call it, and let him do his thing, I think he'll be fine. And it's going to benefit the town as far as, the shop's actually gonna make revenue from it. So that's not a bad
He
thing.
has time to do this and do ours, because doing ours would be the priority.
And that was already set in stone, that if something comes, and we're doing maintenance things we're changing the oil on the fire district stuff, we're doing the oil changes, the general maintenance stuff.
It wouldn't be rebuilding their transmission.
If they lose a transmission, they're gonna have to take that. But general maintenance, inspections, stuff like that, I think is more than, and Kevin's on board with
Yeah.
tackling it, so.
Just to follow, what about all the other hoses and pumps and everything that they?
We don't deal with the fire end of it, the
Okay,
fire apparatus end of it is a
just
whole
the
different.
chassis and.
That's a whole different certification for that stuff.
Hey there. You here for Gail's birthday?
I'll miss you.
I know. Donna, are you here for first impressions?
Yes.
Sorry, I think I was scheduled.
But it's good to see
I
you.
didn't know you were involved,
Good
otherwise
to
I
see
certainly
you
would
sitting
have
there
called you.
again. You guys had to do things like this when I'm away. The first vacation I've had in 10 years. And you were Tilton Selectmen and make the
As you
announcement.
start.
Good
Monday.
until tonight.
And I'm leaving, Jeannie's coming,
I know.
Brock's leaving.
Next thing you do,
Unless he changes his mind in the next 10 minutes. Hey, I did
I'll change your mind.
You've tried.
I tried to sweeten him up, but didn't work. Have some more candy.
That's, yeah.
Now, how about the salt shed? Where are we at with that?
That was one of my projects I was working on that I just haven't had time to finish. That should probably be on a warrant article for this year. What's gonna probably, sooner than later, that's gonna end up either falling in or,
New guy, would you explain what the salt shed thing is?
You
Um,
remember when it cracked, Joe?
Yeah, but he fixed it.
right, yeah, we fixed what was
Temporary
broken.
Band-Aid.
Yeah.
We replaced the post. The rest of it, if you go down, and if you got time, stop down tomorrow and I'll take you and show you. The whole back wall's blown right out. I mean,
Okay, well,
it's,
we can talk about this tomorrow then.
right, it's time, and if the person that comes in is gonna continue to take care of the roads the way I took care of the roads, you need material in the shed. We had storms last year where that shed was full, ice storms, and 3/4 of the way through the storm, we were out of material. So, the shed holds 120 tons of material. You get an ice storm, burn that up in a night. Just trying to keep people on the roads. And I pride myself in saying, and you can ask 90% of the people in town, we took good care of these roads. These roads were in very good shape. I mean, yeah, you're not going to be perfect all the time, but we were as close as you could get with, because we were on them. We stayed on them. We didn't take, and that's the level that you gotta get, because you're getting to that point where Tilton's getting bigger, and it's more rural, and people wanna see the roads passable, and they don't care what it's doing outside.
So do you think it would be benefit to get something larger for storing the, and maybe locate a different location up there for storing more sand and
I've
salt?
got it mapped all out, and I've got it all done, and the trees have been cut, the land is set, everything's all ready to go. It just needs to find out which building you wanna go with.
Type of building?
There's stuff in my email, which I'll try to print off for the versatile building. It's 8 feet of concrete in the ground, 8 feet out, and then the dome on the top, the big aluminum dome on the top.
How big? What square footage?
It's 60 by 80. And
How
I
much
got-
does that hold?
it's probably around 250 ton, which is, you're gonna start us going that you need more than 250 ton, you probably wanna go Florida.
When you can get out.
Yeah, when you can get out.
There's a million questions, so I'm sure we're gonna be.
Well, no, that's fine,
You know, just
ask
maybe
away.
not-
I
Yeah,
don't know.
maybe in the future.
Yeah, so like I said, my phone, you can call me anytime if you need something. I have no problem helping out or trying to, somebody's gonna question or whatever, so.
Anybody else have any questions, thoughts, comments? That's it. Well, thank you so
Well,
much
thank
for
you.
all the service to the town.
I appreciate everything.
You know, we
Appreciate you
the-
bringing Public Works to where it's at today. One, you know, I'm really sad that you're leaving.
Nope, I thank you very much. Thank everybody. Yeah. No?
I'm gonna see you tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. See ya. Thank you. Pat? Thank you, Pat. Have a good night.
All right, thanks.
Let's see. A little bit ahead, I guess appropriate, we do have an advertisement out for his position, and we are getting responses,
Are we gonna need to renew that?
one or two. So, when does that ad expire?
30?
There's no more ads out there, but the deadline is for the third.
Where did you post the ads?
Oh, gosh. Daily Sun, Echo, and Manchester.
I did it on PNet. That's the UNH technology too.
Did you put in,
NHMA,
you did it in their publication, Tom?
not in the publications online.
You didn't put it in their publication?
No, because their publication only comes out, what, every 2 months? Is it every month or every 2 months? I know they cut back.
What about trying one of the, what about trying one of the Boston papers?
That's just Vegas, usually. I mean, it's statewide.
Did we put it in you? I don't think we did. Did we?
That was for Sunday.
Oh, it's Sunday.
Yeah, you did put it in the Sunday one, yes.
Just that one time? Want to try it one more time and then you?
It costs as much for the individual as it does for a week in the sun.
Is there a professional association of public works directors?
That's what yours put.
That's the PNet.
Oh,
The applicants have applied so far, did they say where they,
We've only had one.
and did they say where they heard,
Edmonton.
not where they heard it was
Where
advertised?
they heard it, no, they don't say.
But
They just
we
say they
asked,
saw our ad.
you're curious to ask if anybody else. I think, my opinion is that I know it's expensive, but the union leader, it's a wide range. It's a big paper that everybody buys, Sunday paper.
I know we talked about it, but I don't know what the end result was about Indeed.com.
We can do it, yeah.
Did we do it?
We did for the TA.
Okay, can we do Indeed for Public Works?
Yep.
Because people that are looking for jobs right now are looking for, one of the resources that they do, they go to Indeed.com. So,
Especially where now we're in an electronics
right, world.
world where people,
I don't think
Pick
it
up their
costs us to
phone.
go there, does it? Okay. Be worth it.
How long ago did Brock submit his notes?
3 weeks.
3 weeks?
3 weeks?
So we're posted it right away.
There are other towns, surrounding towns, Joe, in the last month and a half, when we went out for a foreman position. Well, actually, 2 or 3 months, there have been public work directors' positions open in surrounding towns that have been open for 7 months. I'll tell you that right now.
our past applicants, you know, they can just breeze through those a little bit and see. If there was,
We had a couple in there.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
Do you want to go through them again?
I think so.
I think it's worth looking through. I don't remember.
I think that the looking
I remember
was,
one name.
yeah, we gotta do something.
Tell me the
Wait,
town.
snow's coming.
Tell me the town. Because there's a couple that are no longer existing.
Yeah, he didn't come from town, he was a construction person.
Oh,
Well, I think the truck said there's a couple more coming in the business. But we'll go ahead and place the applicants.
So we'll do it in the evening leader?
And I'll put on a
Okay,
We're
and.
gonna have a reasonable deadline, not a deadline, but a reasonable target date, I should say, that we're gonna look at this, and I would hate to know if, if he's put word out, he knows people that are gonna apply, and then we make a decision and then these people come in. I don't want that to happen.
We definitely, we set a deadline for the 30th
Correct.
of August or September.
August.
We have to
August.
push that out by 3 or 4 weeks.
All right, so meanwhile, can we talk with Kevin and Peter, because Peter's the foreman, we hired him as a foreman? Joyce, I guess I'm asking this question
Mhm.
to the board, to see if Joyce can see if they're up to speed and if they need anything. Let them just know that we're here if they need anything, that you're here. If they need anything.
Yeah, well, I'm going down there tomorrow morning.
Okay, so, we do whatever we can to help. I know Peter's brand new, so, but he has experience, a lot of experience, so I hate to throw him in.
They'll be fine, Joyce, you're the overseer, you're the liaison.
Right.
So we're going to pick up. Anytime you can have it.
Just let him know,
Like today, I met with Chris Harris and Brock on the Winnisquam project.
Yeah.
So I'll be the project manager of that until at least October 31st.
Okay.
Could we also let Jeannie Forrester know that our in-town administrator, that we're having some difficulty getting applicants in and ask for her thoughts on it too? She might,
I'm sure
she'll be the person that's going to be,
We've only been really 2 weeks advertising, right?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
have gotten notice 3 weeks, but it's really only been
Right.
up for 2 weeks. You didn't put it in Indeed.
but I just thinking that Jeannie Forrester would be working hand in hand with this person, and she might have
She might know something. We
Some
should
people.
at least ask her.
Sure.
and creative ways to find people. Okay.
We got a great group down there, so I'm sure they got whatever we need down there.
Well, we are ahead of schedule.
Do you want to see if the chief can come in early or not?
Yeah,
Do you want me to
Selectmen's reports earlier, Joyce's reports
I think
earlier.
so.
What do you want?
Give mine
Chief
over
or
real quick.
selectmen's? Want to get over that?
What have you got, Joyce? Do you have a copy of your agenda?
Yes, I handed it out, didn't I? Oh, I didn't make enough copies. Yeah, mine was pretty quick.
What do you want to do?
I think if the chief could come in more towards like 6 o'clock, would be great.
Well, we have a resident coming in for public input.
That's it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, yeah,
So Joyce is
He's gonna
here.
take up the public input,
so 6:15.
and then we'll do Joyce right now.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll text him.
Maybe 6:15 for the chief. He can be a little bit later.
I don't have it on here, but as you know, we were closed Monday and Tuesday for the carpeting and the moving and everything. And the working conditions were such that no one could really, it was just unhealthy to have anybody working in here. Dari did stay for the day. He stayed up here so that I could, if I had to leave, he would go down and supervise. But I was amazed at when, I mean, I knew it would be dusty and dirty because the carpet's old. But they said what happens is all those years that the dirt just works its way through the carpeting and through the matting. It was just mounds of dirt. And they brought in, they had these 2 air blowers. One was to suck the air, another one was to blow it out, and it was just everything. It was difficult to breathe. At one point I even thought of going over to Billy's and getting some masks. Even some of the carpet guys, and it was bad. We didn't get masks. And things were just moving so quickly that we were all bumping into each other to try and get things moved, and the carpet guys. So it was really, I wouldn't say it was chaos. I mean, we all, well, it was, you know, there was just a lot going on. So I would officially request that it be, for those 2 days, that they be, at least for the hourly employees, that they be given
I totally agree. I've stopped in for these last couple of days.
Yeah, you guys stopped in,
I
yeah.
gotta tell you, I cannot believe, I would call it chaos.
You
but
would call it
not-
chaos?
I would call it chaos, but not to anybody's detriment by any means. The employees were exemplary. They worked through it. It was disheveled. Everything was around, but everybody stepped up. Those that were here, they pitched in, they pulled together. For the town clerk, tax collector to pull together
Yeah.
and serve customers at 8:30 on Wednesday morning. Through all of what was happening was, I just can't even get over that part.
Yeah, it was really
Computers
good.
weren't working, telephones weren't working, everybody, you know, and the residents all had a lot of patience for what was going on, and it got delayed, things, you know, didn't work out the way you originally planned. Everybody pulled together, it was really good. Patience got a little tight a little bit, but you worked through it. It was, I gotta tell you, I've never seen anything like it. It was really, you guys
It's
really
not over
did
yet.
some teamwork.
Well, no,
It's
and,
not over yet, but it
but
was
no, but
teamwork.
I'll tell you, the crew, and the crew that we worked with, the moving guys and the carpeting guys, there was never any of this, no, we don't do that, other than with the thing, or they all helped out with everything.
Yeah.
The frustrating thing for me is like you put something down, and then you go to get it, whether it was a phone or whatever, and where'd it go? It got moved.
It's gone.
You know, the thing that kind of, that I think I planned the schedule a little too tight because I didn't realize just what was involved in pulling up all that carpet and all the floor prep. There was, and they even said that the amount of floor prep that they had to do, they were amazed because whoever did the floor before, I mean, there's holes in the floor. And it was just a mess, and they did the best they could to fill it in. They had this,
Level it and
to level it and
everything.
and scrape it, and the dirt, and to clean it up. That was very time consuming. And the other thing that kind of knocked me for a loop, first thing in the morning when the movers came in, they said, oh, we can't move those safes, we don't have the equipment to move the safes. But we resolved it.
So
It
yes,
could have been done even, it was done better than if we had used professional movers. So, so that set back our schedule. Pardon me?
They didn't know that the safe was.
They did, but the person that had come and given me the original estimate to come do it, he said, oh yeah, we can do that. And come to find out, no, they couldn't. But we resolved it. And nobody got hurt, and everybody helped. There was no, I won't say it was no problem, but.
No damage to the building.
No, the only thing was that some of the new carpeting that had been laid down got a little bit of grease on it, and we made every precaution of putting
They
things.
replaced that today,
Oh, they did?
and they did it just like that.
Did they really?
Yes, they did.
And you could ask them to do anything, and they would do it. They were just so.
They actually replaced that, those
Yes,
carpets?
they did.
Wow.
We pointed it out to him, he said, no problem,
Yeah.
zip, zip, zip.
Boom.
And
Wow.
Yeah, and he replaced a
That's why
couple
it's nice
that.
that we got the
Exactly.
squares.
Yeah, and he replaced a couple that he says, oh yeah, he says, no, we were gonna do that, we had to do that because of this and that. And they worked constantly.
So I'm a go, oh, I can't say I'm a go for the employees, because I have to accuse myself.
No, I'll say that, you know, I think the employees should be paid. They helped out, they worked as many hours as they could,
Yeah.
climbed over things.
Around it, yep.
And around it, and wasn't an expected thing or any of their
Yeah.
doing.
So it was, the schedule was set back because of but the movers came back, I met them 6 o'clock Wednesday morning, and they were all here, and boom, they moved everything back. She had to wait for the floor to cure before they could even put their roof up on it, and then put the thing, and then move the stuff back.
How long before the rest of the rug and whatnot is laid down?
They're gonna wait and come back Monday, right?
And they're gonna do that.
They'll be back Monday.
And about the offices and what have you. When will they be put back?
Monday. So everything that's in that room now will be moved back in the office. Well, it's really just my office and your office. So they're left. Tim's is all back.
Status.
Tim's
Oh, they
back.
did, Tim.
Yeah, his is back, Heather's back.
Guess the status is what rooms are complete and what are not complete now.
So it's
Oh,
just,
all the rooms are done. What's left is the meeting room and this hallway going out front. And then we just have to figure out what the meeting room, because once they get all that furniture out of there, the only thing that's really going to be left is the refrigerator and really the table. And I think we can handle that.
the refrigerator can
Yeah.
be moved forward to the hallway, just
On wheels.
right, it's on wheels, it's
Yeah.
right to the hallway, and then they can, that's not just put a piece of plywood down, boom.
Yeah, because I think when the movers are here, then they'll go ahead and move all of our furniture back. That's why I've got to get my little office cleaned out, so that stuff is where I've been working. And then a lot of the chairs and things we can just put in the IT room. I mean, have them put as much of the smaller stuff in the IT room. So the only things that will be left to be moved in that meeting room will be to move out the refrigerator and the 2 file cabinets and the big table. That would really be it. So we can figure it out. Because I don't want to keep them any longer, because they're paid by the hour. The movers are by the hour, our guys are by the job.
I absolutely love that tile that you picked for the hallway.
I wish we'd done the whole
I
town
wish we had
that,
done
but
the whole town. Wish we had done it all through the entire, I love it. I just love
Tile through the whole first floor?
it. No,
they call it
the
walk-off.
hallway.
And the meeting room is gonna be that walk-off.
They get that like a can of.
The meeting room is gonna be what's in the hallway?
Yeah.
I love it.
Especially
That's
because the meeting room is where when we have public come in.
Yes,
All
yes,
that
Yes,
yes.
stuff
public
gets
area.
tracked in.
Yeah,
Yeah, and if I
that's gonna look sharp.
jiggle things right, it will work that in the former land use office, there will be room for that little table, the wooden table that now is hidden underneath the steps in Heather's office, that we will have a little place where people can sit down and eat. If they just want to get away from their desk, in the wintertime, you don't want to go out because you only have a half an hour, you just sit there and eat in peace.
Yeah.
And you have a window and no one will bother you. So but I think once all the dust settles and we get things cleaned up, we're going to be coming to the board to put in money in the budget to get all the walls painted and all the woodwork repainted.
Well, good job, because I know you worked long hours.
I
on
did.
this one.
I did.
Long hours, yeah.
But we had a good time. We all had a good time. And John was good. He let me buy pizza for the carpet people, which I did. And then the moving people, when they come next Monday morning, I told them I'd have some a box of Joe and some donuts and stuff. And they
Sometimes a couple pizzas can get a lot of extra work done. It shows appreciation.
Yeah. So you'll see that on the bill. So anyway, so I think it's still in progress, but to have such small space to work in, and with people and not knowing how bad the dirt was going to be, I think those were the only problems, really. So,
So, are we looking for a consensus on paying the employees or?
yes,
motion?
because it was kind of unclear, and I just want to make sure that when you see payroll next week,
No,
that,
I made a motion, right?
Is that a motion, Dick?
I worked Tuesday, but I'm salaried, so it doesn't affect me.
I know it doesn't affect the salary.
Well,
So my opinion is, it was really hard for me to work all the way up here Tuesday because of the road.
Mhm.
Coming up the stairs, I have to keep the door open.
So is that a
Yeah,
motion?
but you were out and about, I mean, you were
I had some
working, yeah.
inspections, but then I had to come back and do those reports, and I finally had to leave. I've written the same sentence 5 times. But
We
it
have
was
a
just
motion
annoying,
to
so
do that, we do that. I'll make the motion.
I will second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'd like to recuse myself on that because there's one
Okay.
employee.
Makes sense.
All right.
Okay, thanks.
All right,
And so moved.
Is Chief here? Okay, is this your public appointment?
No.
Okay. Just quickly, I met with Brock and Chris Harris, and we went over the Winstorm, I call it, my title is Class 5 Road off of Laconia Road, because that little road isn't named. And we went through his contract, we went through the survey, he spray painted out with the limits of where he's working, because some of the neighbors were coming and saying, oh, by the way, you've got to come over here and do this. And I told him no, so he knows exactly what he has to do. And one of the other abutters came out and wanted to know, oh, well, can you come and do this? And he was very clear, he said, I'm more than happy to subcontract, to contract individually with any of you.
That's right.
And he gave out his card, so that's clear.
So,
I don't
on
have,
that topic, so he will saw cut the existing asphalt at the
Mhm.
boundary line,
mhm,
and then,
mhm. Yes, he will saw cut it. He's just doing the boundary line.
is the saw cut all the boundary line, and our asphalt job will meet up to the old existing
Mhm.
private property.
The other thing that came up was right in front of Winnisquam Market, there are some concrete curb stops. And since it's our road and they're in our road, we want them. I mean, we want to be responsible for maintaining them. And they look pretty bad. Some of them look bad.
They're gonna have to be pulled up.
Yeah, they're going to have to, yes, they're going to have to
Right, they
be
gotta
pulled
be
up.
pulled up, right.
But do you want to,
They don't belong to us.
no, but they're in our
But
Our
they're,
They
way.
we're gonna have to, if we plow, we're gonna plow the right.
Mhm.
We plowed the
My,
road.
my feeling is, we should take care, they're in our right of way, they're not coming out of our right of way, we should take them. With the permission of them.
How do we do that in other areas?
Take them with permission. We're gonna take them with permission.
Otherwise, we're gonna be getting calls saying, you dinged my thing, you have to come back and move it.
Isn't that just the same as a mailbox?
shouldn't they be
If
told
If it's
that,
in our right of way?
No, because we're making the parking spaces, we're painting the parking spaces. It's like a parking lot.
So we've created the issue.
No, the concrete has been there for years.
Yeah, they're sitting on.
It looks
town-
bad, right?
They're sitting
No, they're just
on
curb stops.
our property. Somebody put, let's put it this way, somebody put concrete curb stops on the town
Mhm.
property. They're done up, they're old.
They're old, they're
So-
twisted, they're not,
But we
Just
don't-
take them up.
We don't plow that close to them, we plow the road section.
We're gonna
Right,
take
we have
them
the asphalt under them.
Yeah,
Okay,
and then you can put
There's
them back.
the-
I would,
and we put, but do we need to put them back? Do we wanna put them back?
slows the
Is it
cars from
really
running
that
into
bad?
the building.
But are they that bad
They
that,
can be picked up and put on our property that we're not gonna deal with, that's not gonna be asphalted right next to it.
but if they're in
yeah,
bad
but
shape,
but we do, they're, I wish I should put this on the thing. You could see where they
how
are.
bad a shape are they?
Well, they're crooked, I mean,
The crooked
Yeah.
is,
All you do is drive
They're-
rebar down to hold them in place.
they're
you
dinged up.
pick
They're
them up
not
and,
drive rebar in our asphalt.
If you pick up the
We're gonna
curb
help
stop
drain
and and then pave and put them back down, are they okay to put back down, is what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, then that's what I would do.
I would
Okay, just-
remove them.
Can we
Yes.
go in a row? We'll start.
Go ahead,
Pat?
Catherine. No, go ahead, Catherine, go ahead.
I would pick them up from our property, put them over on our dirt property, do the asphalting, and leave them there. And we know who owns the store. We can tell them our plan is to haul them away. Take them away. And if he objects and wants them, we care if he takes ownership of them and he puts them back. After all, there is parking heading into his store.
Mhm.
If I own that building, I want a curb stop there. I'd probably put in bollards, but it's our property, so we can't drill into it. If he wants to put the other property ones back and take ownership of them, we'll wash our hands of it.
No, I'm just saying, they're on our
We'll
property,
just,
they're his, they're gonna have to be moved to get the saw cutting in and to bring the thing. What do you wanna do? We wanna have Chris put them back? They're not
And what
ours.
we should do is tell him to move them.
okay,
You move them or we'll move them.
Joe, you're right.
You move them or will move them because you own them. And I'm all for telling the guy that, you know, I'm still a little unclear about why we would let him put iron pins through our freshly paved area, especially to put in beat up curb stops. I haven't seen the curb stops. I'll go over and I'll look
Yeah,
at
you don't have to make a decision tonight.
Uh-huh.
So if you will all go over
I
there
know, I
and
would
look.
like to go and look at the curb stops, but I don't see us in maintaining these curb stops.
I think if I
I
could,
think well, we're going to go in a row.
I think
So
Joe
if we-
needs to talk with Joyce about the actual project that's going on in there too, so he
Yes,
gets
I
a
do.
better understanding of
Okay, and
So-
I've got all the poll
We're
numbers.
going to go through and ask everybody.
that.
I'm
In a
good.
row. My opinion is that they are private property and they're belong that does not belong to us. And if we go and take them, ask him if he can remove them. If he can't, we will remove them. But if they get damaged in the processes of moving them, we're not responsible.
And we're not gonna put them back.
And that we will not be putting them back. But he can put them back. We do not want him to put pins through it. And the reason is if we go and buy new stops for his property, we have the Lobster Connection, we've got Winnisquam Marine, and we're going to also be having the where the condominiums are next year after that section is paved. And we would have to go and buy and set all stops for everybody. We can't just do that, so that's my opinion.
We've allowed them to sit there for years. We pick them up, set them aside during construction, let the owner know if they want to put them back, it's on them. Otherwise, they will get relocated to the highway garage. If they don't want to set them back, we move them to highway right off. So we find that out in advance.
I'm with what John said. And Catherine. You pretty much
We all
said
said
the
it.
same.
Yeah.
Move them or we will? Yeah.
Okay, and I got all the poll numbers.
Yeah.
3 of them said PSNH, only one of them had N.
On the top is telephone,
Yeah,
that's, they own it.
okay. And we just
There's
don't
no
know,
top on it.
yeah, okay. But we're not gonna do any of the encroachment removal. Had an opportunity to watch Peter's Herald, we call him Peter, work the excavator today over on Mansfield Road, and man, oh man, it was just, it was like, I don't know, it was fun to watch. We have the equipment where our town can do that, and to get it all prepped and everything. Yeah, yeah,
Myanmar.
it's,
That was part of that whole big package.
yeah. They pulled, they're watching them pull out all those stumps, load up the 2 big trucks and haul away.
So, one of the things, if, while we're looking at it and getting poll numbers, could we get DigSafe to also do a check through there so we're not surprised in the
The contractor's responsible for that.
And it's,
But-
if you do it now, it's null
Yeah.
and void.
I understand it's null and void, but we might find that there's some other pipes that are in there or something else that could drastically change our costs. And,
You know, you're thinking about what went on across the street on the bridge. Don't wanna have everybody's
500 cable,
people up?
Yeah,
500 cable.
I think Dig Safe would probably go in through there and then.
What's
we could
the
give-
window for dig safe? Because this
90
is,
days.
oh, we're fine.
Well, my thoughts are,
But the contractor has to do that.
I understand that, but if we're gonna be putting out for bid, we don't want them to come back after they do it, tell us, oh, they're changed, so we know.
It's too late.
Okay, you're talking about the encroachments.
In the encroachments,
Okay.
yes. Yeah, just so that we know, and I know they expire, but it's better to know ahead of time what's under there.
You can always renew the dig
Yeah,
safe.
oh, that's a good idea.
And
Okay,
also,
on the
there could be
encroachments.
private people that
Their own lines.
tapped into. You don't know what's on that road.
DigSafe only gives you what member utilities have given DigSafe. So private ownership does something, DigSafe has no idea.
Right, because when I was out there, one of the residents
We've got a report
was
through DigSafe.
talking to me about a sewer line that,
Right, you won't find sewer pipes. We're plastic, clay.
We just get that, just get heads up, can't hurt.
Gail just asked me an interesting question. Who's doing the drainage work?
What drainage work?
We talked about
Down at the end.
the final grade before we asphalt the dirt work has to be graded to allow for proper
That's your contractor.
drainage. Well, that's what I'm asking, is
the contractor.
Porter going
Yeah,
to do
yes.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have the scope.
He's the one that's shooting the grades.
I don't have the scope of work in front of me.
He's
I don't
shooting
know
all
if
the
that was
grades.
What his
Yes.
work was gonna do, and then they would do the asphalt, and I just want to be absolutely certain.
Yeah, that's for sale.
So I'm thinking
That's
about
what
the
Dennis
price
worked
of
on.
my- That's all your price.
That's about it.
That's
We're
right.
done.
Doesn't matter. The price is all here.
Okay, Joe, I'll be more than happy to take you down there and show you where all the pins are
Okay.
and everything. And the only thing, just wanted to remind you that it says that what his price doesn't include is if he needs additional crushed gravel, because he won't really know. But we have the per ton price, so the way he sees it, that would really be the only place that he might have to bring in more gravel to get the right proper grades. Okay, so that was done. That we're meeting next Tuesday night with the Northfield Selectmen, and they have invited Attorney Philpott to come. That's the attorney that they had reached out to. And he looked at the deeds, and he seems to think that we don't need to notify the heirs.
We're out
So,
of town. Really? I thought that was the sticking point in all this.
well, he has a different interpretation
I
of
thought
it,
it
and
was
I said, well,
It is-
rather than arguing with me, let him speak directly to.
I know what
So 7 o'clock.
There or here?
you
There.
mean. Now, we have
That's their regular.
other,
And we need to put a
we wanted
notice
to
that
discuss that now,
we're having a meeting with the Northfield Selectmen.
right?
Say what?
So the original reason we were going there was not the transfer of that property to us.
No, it was gonna come up in the conversation, but when they had this new development, they said, oh, well, we can talk about that same night, and then I suggested that it would really be helpful if you, based upon what I heard, I have questions for the attorney, and I'm sure if I have questions, you guys have questions. And they said, fine, we'll get them here.
So 7 o'clock,
Mm-hmm.
so are we gonna discuss tonight what further we wish to speak at?
We talked about the bridge, maybe.
Yeah. Another one.
Is it ever cleared up who's responsible police department for policing that, is that?
The island?
Yeah.
I had a memorandum of understanding. I wrote it.
I thought I printed out
Years
there.
and years
We
ago.
saw it.
Oh, did I give this out to you?
That was
The,
We police it.
If you did, well,
I could share the
give me
meat.
something.
it's a mutual one.
I can't give it to Catherine because it's,
Doesn't everything go to those offices there?
No, that's.
well, Joe, I can give you my original. I don't have access to the color printer yet, so the original will go on regular letterhead. So don't mess that's my copy. That's done. That's done. This we have to talk about. And this is done. And that's done. Okay, I just have, two other quick things.
Do we have a letter in response to,
Tuscan Mill, the parking.
oh, that one too.
Well, that, no, that's still coming.
Jason Stock to ask our legislative representatives to support overturning the governor's veto on the Senate bill. Because that's coming out.
Yeah, a letter to the legislature to override the veto, that's still pending.
Okay, well, that
It's
date's
September
coming and going.
13th, yeah.
If we don't get that out,
It's September 13th.
well, so we want it out way before September 13th. That's only a couple weeks away. So basically, next week's pushing it. That I guess we'll have to.
Well, we've got Labor Day weekend next weekend, right?
If we don't send it out by next Thursday night, there's no harm.
Oh, you'll get it next Thursday. I'll have an office again by then. And maybe
You've
something
seen
that needs a new
this already.
computer.
You've seen this
I
already.
don't know if that's,
That's the new Franklin
Oh,
letter.
yeah, no, I'm not having a vote on that. But thank you.
Now, I did, because you are legally a selectman, I put your name on here.
Okay.
The other one that I had sent you, it just had too much information in it. So I just hit what the highlights were. There were two things that they had brought to the board's attention. The board discussed them, and we're explaining how we do things, and we'll continue to do things the way we do them. And we'll thank you for bringing this to our attention.
The individual that the letter is sent to, or is being sent to, is the landlord, the property
No,
manager?
the
This isn't-
attorney for the property.
The attorney, all right, but it is the property.
Why are you saying combining all three as purposes so as to not undo the inconvenience?
Oh.
You mean combining fire EMS and code?
Yes, we're not changing how we're doing that. We're doing it, we're going to continue doing it the way we're doing it. All right, so this is the original. I could send this around, because I've got a... I'll put it in. And the last thing is certificate of occupancy request. Do you have that, Catherine? Or do I have that?
Certificate of occupancy. Is that from,
Yes, this is a request from a resident that they would like to set up a payment plan for the certificate of occupancy so that he can go ahead and open up. He had asked Dari, but Dari had said that he can't, only the selectmen could do something like that.
What's the,
And his payment plan is $400 now, $300 on September 15th, and $300 on October 15th.
I don't think we should hold up somebody's opening of their facility because they can't pay their fee. I think that would be quite an injustice.
Would that be a motion? Yeah, my thoughts are is that, yeah, we could accept the payment plan, but let him realize that if it's not paid by the terms, he could have his
Yeah.
certificate of occupancy revoked, which would shut him down. No, that's working with the business,
Mm-hmm.
getting them open.
Is there a motion?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
For what?
You said that's what payments
This is the
Okay, good. Oh, I got it.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Want to look at that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Okay. And the last thing we'll do under selectmen's reports is there's a right to know request. And I need to know how you want me to respond because what they're requesting is not clear. They need to be clear in what they want because
Can we ask them to be more specific? Oh. I'm not, oh.
yeah, can you hold on to the whole?
Is this involving something that came to the town, or is this involving something that came specifically to the sewer? Is this involving something that came to
Planning
the
board.
planning board?
That's where it started.
Okay.
Okay.
Sewer's added to the next.
Well, I mean,
Sure.
Well, no, on the sewer end, there's easements. The problem is you've also got to comply with DES requirements, which if they can't comply based on the easements, then they won't be able to go the way they want.
And it's, so 1, 2, 3, 4 departments, 1, 2, 3 addresses, plus
Has there been
other,
communication from the outside of the planning board to the sewer commission on this issue?
yeah, it came before the sewer commission 3 times.
It came before the sewer commission, so that's why it says, and including sewer commission here.
I think this
Okay,
is
got it.
dated before they came, isn't it? This letter's dated the 20th with the sewer.
22nd?
No, that's when the town received it.
Yeah,
Our
20th.
meeting was the
We met the
21st. He wrote this letter on August 20th before,
Anticipating that he was coming.
anticipating that they had to get those permits.
I'm just trying to get a sense of where this is coming from and what he needs.
Anything in town that affects them,
Yep.
they're acting.
So we set up an appointment form to come in and do things.
Can you, is it our right to say, could you be a little bit more specific to narrow it down? Because otherwise you're going to be spending hours trying to figure out what it is that all these things that he wants. I mean,
Well,
it really is vague.
any communication from any member of the Board of Selectmen as it pertains to Bittern Lane is gonna go back to when we named the road.
Last sentence says, any records of any nature pertaining to that property. That's pretty specific. Anything.
But that goes back years to
Yeah,
when
it
they
does.
this is the third site plan on that property.
Are we still?
We just have to make this information
Yeah,
available.
exactly. We have to make it available for public access. So we would set up an appointment, let him know that he's more than welcome to look at any of the property.
I mean, I
My
can,
concern is how much time we will be spending with it. If it's reasonable within like the last couple of years, but if it keeps going back and back, are we reimbursed for the time? So we'll have to make sure that each department and the Conservation Commission.
right, that, my concern is, you know, having the Conservation Commission and the Sewer Commission, Board of Selectmen and Planning Board is no problem.
I mean, we talked about Bittern, and not this project, but we talked about Bittern 8 years ago.
That's right.
I mean,
We can-
exactly. I mean, that's all, and then that had nothing to do with anything to do with this.
That's right. All the conversations we had about that property as it pertained to the road,
Yep.
with Paul Hauser and her engineer,
Yep.
he wants all that information. That's what he's saying in his
Yep.
letter.
Right.
He's talking about reams.
Right.
We're gonna have boxes of information.
And then on number 3, there's certain properties about any permits and
So we just need to make it available.
just make it available. As far as communications, we don't communicate outside of meetings, but, I mean, we keep all our emails. Well, we don't keep all our emails, but anything that's pertinent, like I have things Bittern Lane, so I just have to call that up and that will make them all available.
So Joyce, I was on the planning board during that time. Any communications that I may have sent out or got minimal, but those are all archived, correct? Okay.
I have my one Bittern Lane folder that's just since I've been here, which is
Yeah.
like that. So, I mean, there's lots of information. I would just have to let him know if he could maybe pinpoint some time. I can tell him where these things are located. But I can't speak for the Conservation Commission or the Sewer Commission. I can only do
We
Board
have
of
to
Selectmen and
notify
Planning Board.
Sewer and Conservation Commission that,
I think sewer's been notified.
Sewer's been notified?
and
Three sewer
give them a date
commissioners.
within 5 days, the 22nd. Are those 5 calendar days or 5 business days?
Business days.
So 22nd.
I can call him tomorrow.
We'll just notify him and say, set up a meeting to, as long as you notify him, saying, set up a meeting to try to get things together, meet with you and Dowie and
But as far as coordinating this with the Conservation Commission and the Sewer Commission, I mean, what do you want me to do? I mean, I could get Al. Al will be here, and on Monday, he can let me know what he has on those properties, if there's anything. Property record card files, people are
Where to
welcome to
find
go.
them, yeah. And it's in with Conservation Commission, I'm sure if you send it to the chairman, Chuck will, he's well aware of these things. And
just ask him to bring anything that he has to do with Bittern Lane.
Or just tell me where the file is.
Right.
Yeah,
Notify Johanna, Monday.
okay.
Bring your copy of Johanna.
Okay, I can do that, and that's it, I'm done. I'm done.
And could I be excused also
Did you plug it in?
I don't know, fault.
Did you see your text message?
Okay, so, town administrator, we have, at 6 o'clock, we have public input. Public input? Yeah, you want to come up, Alan? Alan's here. Yeah. It has to be real close, so these mics, to try and
I'll do my best.
get rid of the background sounds.
I'll do my best.
Nice to have you
I
here.
don't like mics.
What's going on?
Okay, well, my building, I think it's 252. I was doing some renovation on it and needed to reshingle the roof. So I asked Barry whether I needed a permit, and I was told yes. So reshingling the roof, as far as I'm concerned, is general maintenance of the building. It's just like painting the building, it's like mowing the grass. So the permit for 252 is $556 to reshingle my roof.
For the permits.
Just for the permit.
I thought they were gonna shingle it for you.
Well, according to Darren, that is to make sure that it is done to code and everything else. So, of course, I asked Barry, I said, okay, well, if you're going to take this liability on, if it's not done to code, do I sue the town? Because they are the ones responsible to make sure it is done properly. I spent $7,000 to have it shingled. I think my $7,000, I'm going to make sure I get it done properly. Otherwise, he ain't getting the check. So I have great concern over, I mean, is this business friendly? Is this the direction that the town is going? I mean, if I've got to pay to shingle my roof, but if I painted the roof, it would be free. Because painting is not, you don't need a permit for it, but it is building maintenance.
What if you just threw a blue tarp up over it?
Well, I had that for a year.
How long have you owned that building, Al?
3 years, 4 years?
So it's not a new construction, so I'm having a very difficult time on this construction fee schedule
Mhm.
because it says no permit required for minimal routine maintenance repair.
That's residential.
Okay, then under commercial and multifamily, is every single thing under repair called routine?
So basically, I should have pulled a permit to paint it. And when I mow the grass, I should be pulling a permit for that. Now, does the value go down? Because obviously this is a tax grab. Does my value go down each year of that building as that roof depreciates?
Actually, on your card.
Joe, do you have this?
I've seen it, I don't have it, I saw it earlier. I do have it. You have it on.
But if I'm going to maintain my building, and every time I maintain my building, it is a tax grab by the town, why would I want to maintain my buildings? Why don't I just come in and get an assessment on my buildings, and the worse they look, the less I'm going to pay?
So if he paints
And the-
his building, it's a fee. Am I correct in saying that, Catherine, or no?
I'm reading this, and I pulled out a bunch of others from other communities, and it looks like if you look at Tilton's commercial multifamily, I would have to say anything that's done to a commercial building is gonna have some fee attached to it.
We're gonna fee ourselves out of town.
I think you already have, because my decision is until the town gets its act together and becomes business friendly, I'm not looking at putting a coffee shop in anymore because I can't afford your fees. Just to get taxed a lot heavier on top of that. Or a nano brewery, because that was part of the plan for across the street.
I can see on new construction, and I can see if somebody's going to pull a permit to renovate or reconstruct, change a room and actually make some renovations to something. I get that because we want it done and we want it done to code. But to paint and put a new roof on,
I mean, why not mowing the grass? That's in,
Was the roofing just
Just-
the
just shingles.
No rebuilding of the roof or joists or
Nope.
rafters?
Nope.
No.
nope. And actually they put the shingles over the top of the other ones. So I guess if I go over there and just take those shingles off, I'm okay.
I don't know about you be an okay for stripping. the
I'll be
shingles off.
$7,000. Well, just the ones that that were put on.
I,
Strip it, that's a demo permit, right? Demolition.
it's got to be some kind of fee for that.
It is, and then you pay
Well-
for disposal, for demo.
We need to talk about it.
$200 fee for demo.
Alan, sometimes these things, in full circumstances, aren't looked at that good. I think when these were made up, and this is a good example of it. And my opinion is that we can address that and make it fair.
I mean, it's got to be fair to everybody. It's not. I'm not just sitting here barking at myself. I mean, according to Barry and Al, I owe it.
I remember when there were some changes made to that, but we were discussing some things like if somebody was replacing ceiling tiles in a store, would they have to get a building permit or that? You know, there were a lot of things, and this might have been one of those little things that
Hey, Alan?
people didn't actually consider
It's the
during
same
the discussion.
when you're renting to a nonprofit on
Yep.
top of all of this.
Yep.
So you're trying to help a nonprofit in the midst of all this, and you're getting
I think it was an overlooked consequence of that. And so
It's still
Yeah.
it's still in the fee structure.
it is.
So any which way you look at it as a
We
commercial
were the
building.
ones that proved
Yes.
this fee
And
structure.
like I said, it is in there tonight. But
And if you
it-
look
it-
at
we
other
will
people's
discuss.
building permit fees, they do include roofs.
Do they separate at all, Catherine,
For shingles.
routine maintenance versus,
So I called
$250.
I called the nearby towns.
Per square foot. I mean, and what I'm telling you is, these all vary.
I called the 4 towns at Samberton, Franklin, Northfield, and Belmont. Samberton was to replace your shingles, no permit needed. Routine maintenance. Franklin was the same response. Northfield was, yes, you do need a permit. And that was end of story.
How much was the permit?
I didn't ask.
They don't have to
It's
list it every
to
day.
me it's building maintenance. You know, you want everyone on Main Street to maintain their building. You want everyone in Tilton to maintain their building to a high standard. But if we're gonna nickel and dime them to death, what is the motivation to maintain any building? You know, when I called Belmont, they went, "Are you just re-shingling?" I said, "Just re-shingling." As a matter of fact, there was one layer of shingles and we went right on top. She says, as long as you're not repairing the roof, which requires a permit, then off you go.
What are the true costs involved in an inspection? I mean, it's not $567. Really? What's it take a part-time guy that doesn't show up half the time, doesn't do that to come out?
So that is my dilemma. And I would like for the town of Tilton to address this and make it fair across the board for all businesses and maybe become a business-friendly town, especially the downtown. Exit 20 will take care of itself.
I think as a board, we should address it, take a look at it, research it, have Dowie back in Al.
You didn't pay it already. Well, did you pay it already?
I paid $100. And I-
Deposit.
No, not a deposit, because I came in and spoke to Barry, and he took the $100 and said, well, if they want any more, they'll get in touch with you.
So can we?
So then I got an
Did they
email.
give you a permit?
Did they actually? No. But I filled in the permit. They didn't give me a permit.
When did you want to start getting the roofing done?
It's done. And I did pull the permit before I did it.
Okay, so you got the permit.
Well, I
You
did.
got the permit,
I
but
never
you
got a
paid the
permit. I gave him $100, which
You filled the permit in,
wrote a check for $100, gave it to him. If it's any more,
But you didn't actually get a permit back signed, right?
no,
and the work is done,
the work's done.
but you really didn't pay for the
So I did get an email saying that I owe $446 upon further review. You know, so,
Pardon my chuckling, I got, on further reviews, it should have been $200 at most, right?
No.
The balance in the
not
300.
according with 300 plus 20 cents a square foot.
Right.
So it's-
Yeah, we gotta get
It's
with
500.
Dari and Al, because that's onerous. To put
It's-
shingles on the roof?
Yeah,
It's all, if you look on the computer at communities throughout the state, and I've got a varied list here, they're not all the same. So it's not onerous, it depends how as a board.
So
I didn't say speak for anybody but me when I said it sounded onerous to me.
I just
They
don't
charge
want
me
to
that,
feed ourselves out, businesses out of town. We
No, we
try so
definitely
hard to
need to look
get
at it
businesses in here.
before we criticize it.
Right.
Hey, it might be
Let's study it.
right on time. I have to talk to a professional because what it sounds like and what it actually is could be two different things.
You know, I probably would have said, if Dari had said, hey, give me $50, and there you go, you've reshingled your roof. I probably would have turned around and said, hey, okay, $50, I don't like it, but it's
Did
$50.
anybody actually inspect the work when it was done?
Do you have anyone that does inspect the work?
Yeah, we have a code enforcement officer. Now, climbing up on top of the roof, I don't know if that's part of his purview, but
Well, I will go back to what I just said. Do we have anyone that actually inspects the work?
This isn't an avenue to criticize any of our employees.
can I make a suggestion that what we do is do not pay any more at this time? And we will go and discuss it with the building inspector and get together and take a look at the,
That's
Yeah.
that's what I'm doing right now, is I'm making a suggestion, as I said that. May I suggest that you do not pay this at this time, and we will discuss it with the building inspector and code enforcement, land use supervisor, all those people to get together.
I mean,
And look
I-
this over, and then let you know.
Yeah,
what
I mean, I don't
happened, make any
mind, I don't mind paying fees and paying my fair share. I really don't. But if I'm gonna get nickeled and dimed out of this town, then so be it. If everyone that did anything to their building started coming in here and pulling a permit, you would need 3 full-time people to go inspect everything. You know? That would increase, you know, the labor pool within the town.
I think it needs a review and discussion on it, and then
I mean, 99% of the people that do any work on their building are probably doing it to code, and are probably doing it, if they're going to be spending big money, you're getting shoddy workmanship, then you only shut it down. I know enough about, you know, what's right and what's wrong, but
is that okay with the board?
I think rather than, my suggestion is to tell one of our residents, taxpayers, not to pay our fees, that the Board of Selectmen, if we all agree, we ask Joyce to ask our town planner, Dari, to hold the permit and charging any more fees to anyone on the building permit fees until we've had a chance to review.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. Maybe
No, you're instructing somebody
You're
not to
asking
pay
him
fees.
not to pay anymore.
I've already been billed for it. It should
Until we
pay.
discuss
If you
it.
so
That's
desire
what I'm saying.
to reverse it, then that
We
is up to
shouldn't
the
be
board.
telling any one of our taxpayers not to pay
You
lawsuit
should, you
fees.
should.
Well, we
No,
should be
don't
doing
hold
it.
off paying till we discuss
No,
it
what
with
But
those
you're
guys.
just saying it again.
Right.
What we're going to do,
Is go
hopefully,
to the
is to tell
department.
land use not to pursue that or charge,
Right.
I mean, I don't.
I think you're
what are we
both
going
on the
to do?
same
Hold
kind of
building-
wavelength.
Hold the building fees
Right.
until we've had a chance to look at them, but the town has a stack of building permits over there.
Ends up, John, in the same result only it's generated from the town and not from the taxpayer. We're not telling the taxpayer to stop the doing it. We're telling our department head to hold off, and that's the more proper protocol to do that. And that's what Catherine said.
What if Alan felt like writing the check right now?
Then we would say to
We
him,
would take it, we could hold it,
Okay.
and we put it over there, and we wouldn't run it through the general fund. That
Okay.
would be up to the board of selectmen to
Okay.
decide.
The same result will happen,
Right.
Yeah.
Just it's,
just where it will.
just we're going through the town instead of.
So you know what's
It's-
going on.
yeah.
You know, we're very taking a good look at it.
It's fine.
And you'll hear it back.
You know, and I think we're all on the same page, not to nickel and dime the taxpayer
That's our
totally
intent.
out
We
of
just have
town.
to Figure out a result now.
Fair enough, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
thank you, Alan.
Can we find a time now to figure out when Barry can kind of look at it, talk to
Well-
Barry?
And here's the thing, if we're going to review our building permit fee,
Mm-hmm.
and he does have a staff from over there, because he has me on the phone listening to them.
Right.
Are we gonna hold those fees as well? Or are we gonna charge those people their fees? Or are we gonna,
I would say we have to hold them all.
that's what I'm asking.
No.
It's kind of a,
New construction, you
New
can
construction,
continue.
I wouldn't,
Hmm.
I would do routine maintenance ones, yes.
so is that the message we wanna give them, to hold anything that's considered routine maintenance, like painting?
Process it, and if we change the rule, and I think after, we'll decide a rebate.
After a certain date.
I just wanna know,
Yeah.
because
No, keep everything going, and if we have to backtrack and offer a rebate back to tonight, and this
We
is
made
brought to our
this-
attention, we can have them a check, and just don't spend the money.
I only had a chance to look at these briefly.
Yeah.
But if you go online, pull up everybody's, I mean, I've got Ospey and, I got all over the place, pull them out. There's no consistency.
No.
And there's no definition of, some of them say repairs. There's nothing that really defines what is routine maintenance, and are we gonna charge for it?
You know,
If
so often
it's
though,
called roofing, and like I said, if somebody is replacing a roof and doing construction and reconstructing it, that's one thing that might require an inspection to make sure the rafter, everything's up to grade. If it is putting shingles over shingles, but that's why I'd like their opinion of what they're getting at.
Everybody probably knows that I've replaced plenty of roofs. You're going along, and you might find one board that's gonna be replaced. Now, does that change the whole ballgame?
There's a lot of
Routine maintenance.
Yes.
And this would be something,
Isn't that still maintenance?
Yes, it's routine.
could we have them come to our next meeting, schedule that to discuss it, go over it?
What I'm suggesting is we all do some homework.
Do
yeah.
some homework,
Because,
have
well, I'll
them
tell
come
you-
in so we stay on it.
So often, you look back when this all took place, and the code enforcement came in and said, I would like to change the fee schedule. And then, and I remember very specifically, we looked at the different other towns around the surrounding towns, some selectmen were still here at the time. We looked at other surrounding towns, and there were several different towns that we compared to, and we said, yes, we hadn't changed the fee schedule for a very long time, but we really didn't do our due diligence to say, you know what? We didn't sit down and we didn't say, okay, what effect is that going to have on residential, business, and so on? We said, okay, we haven't changed it for a while, okay, done deal, well, let's make a motion, boom, okay, done. And now we're seeing the effects of that, and we really, so here we are with a few complaints over the last 6 or 7 months with people coming in about the fee and the construction fee, permit fee schedule. So now we're gonna take a look and say, okay, Dari, we're gonna go to the opposite end of the pendulum here and say, you know what, we think it might need change. Let's do our due diligence and let's research it and say, what exactly needs to be changed? Is it just the routine maintenance that needs to be changed? Let's research all of it and get all of it done so that we have a good fee schedule that's suitable for the town of Tilton, not surrounding towns. we're unique. Tilton is very unique. We got a lot of businesses, we got a lot of, you know, summer people that come in and out. We want people to come in. We want businesses to come in. We don't want to feed them out of the outdoors here. And I think that I don't want to go along with what Northfield does, I don't want to go along with what Belmont does, but I want to use that as a guide. And I think that's where I'm coming from. So let's research it first, and then we can have them come in, and maybe I'd like to sit down and talk with them on my own to figure out why, how, where, because there's things we're missing here.
Did we find the minutes of the meeting when we did decide that? Because I know we went over a lot
Years
of that.
ago. Yeah, we
And
did.
I remember being there.
16.
Yeah, and I remember there was a lot of discussion over what maintenance is and what it isn't, so if we can get that.
So 26, can we get the minutes, can you email us the minutes of that? Okay.
Is anybody interested in having copies of
Yes,
these?
I would love it.
Yeah, I think this, you can copy them to them.
So
Where do you
we
see
could
Kingston's?
Put them on the agenda for next week?
Or maybe you already went for that first profession, so the street's good.
Okay. That'd be
That
good.
means we've got to
I
think
think
about
that
all this
was-
before next week.
Next week,
Well, it might, we need to think about it before next week, we'll need to think about it next week, and we might need to think about it the week after, but until it gets done, we'll work on
I
it.
just don't
But I
want
think
employees
face-
to come in. That's all.
this is huge.
I know, but I just don't
And
want
I
them
think,
coming in if we don't have answers
well, let's ask what his opinion is,
and get some,
and have him appear before the board as opposed to. Yeah. What I don't want to do is to have individual selectmen going and coming up with the decisions and discussing with Dari, and not having the whole board on tune and getting their input, and getting Dari's input back at the same time. So if we can schedule them for next Thursday, that would be great,
how
and make
much
it
we got on
early as
there.
possible for,
Just first impressions.
and if it's early, so that the employee can proceed home after that.
I told Julie at 5 o'clock. For some reason, she was scheduled tonight, because Laurie wasn't here. She worked that, so.
Can we also be attentive that it doesn't become an employee bashing situation?
no, I don't think employee bashing is anybody's aim.
That took place tonight.
Yes, it did.
Oh.
There's no need of it.
Well, yeah.
Okay,
no,
so,
it's
yeah,
like-
this is a policy that was signed by the selectmen, and there was something in it that was overlooked under certain circumstances that could possibly need some more research.
I was
before-
actually on the board that approved those. So I need, I need some more information, because obviously,
I do.
And what the thinking was. So we're all set for next,
Next week is the 30th, and then the following week is George's retirement party, so we don't want to do that because it's 1:30 to 6:30 on that.
Oh, no, we're coming back in, we're coming back in.
if I don't get lost.
So Tuesday.
I'll bring my kayak
Tuesday, we'll
and
meet
paddle
at
back.
7
yeah.
o'clock, right?
See you from 10, upriver.
Which way?
And the Mickey Virgin Food Drive is that Saturday.
Yeah, who's gonna be at the Vicky Virgin Food Drive, September 8th?
I should be able to.
At some point.
Oh, I always say that if something happens.
Get you meeting somewhere.
Yeah, schedule me, if you got a hole, let me know. It's on Saturday, yeah.
Yes, yeah. I know Nancy Wilson is gonna attend.
No,
What do you
somebody
want?
took all my stickies.
Oh,
Oh, we have stickies right here. Oh, there's a file right there.
Yeah.
They just weren't sharing it with them.
Yeah, we each have stickies. I ended up using the pink ones again.
So now we can do it.
Okay. But
I'll do it.
we have a non-public personnel group.
Everybody had big
Is there
ones.
anything that you would like to
Well,
visit?
yeah.
I can tell you,
So, we had that conversation last week, so, no, just taking notes.
okay, so after this, we're just going to be doing probably, I think it's, probably it's selecting reports, I think we're being selecting reports after the non-public personnel.
I just have a real couple. No, actually, I just did it on
So
just the big version.
after the meeting.
Yes, she has a lot.
I've been happy
It's
for the
about
past
15
couple
minutes.
weeks.
Non-public.
Mercy. Listen to the question.
Just about 15 minutes non-public, so we gotta do this.
Okay.
I guess you want me to
So-
keep my mouth shut.
I'm going to make a motion that we go into non-public as per RSA 91-8:3, paragraph 2, A, the dismissal, promotion, and compensation of any public employee or the disciplining of such employee on the investigation of any charges against him unless the employee affected has
Et cetera.
the right to, and request a meeting to be open, in which that case shall be granted.
Oh, far out,
So,
Joe.
and I'm going to do a roll call vote, starting with
Constantino, yes.
Constantino, I have
Fogg, yes.
and I have Dawson.
Yes,
Oh, second? Did we have a second?
second.
Yeah, there was a second.
Just
Constantino is
Just
still
a
yes.
yes.
Is yes, and Scanlon's yes. So moved.
We are red is on.
Wasn't Dottie.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I can hear you over there.
I'll know.
I meant this morning.
Okay.
Oh.
So we just came out of non-public for personnel in hiring of a public employee, and could I have Pat?
We have hired rehired a police officer that used to work for us and left and is now back. His name is Nadim Opicek, and he will be starting on October 22nd this year. He's coming back from Arizona. We're very, very happy.
Can we
He's coming
mention
back.
that this hire was also to fill a vacancy that
And
we're
it's
not
a-
adding to the.
This hire is to fill a vacancy that was created in July when Matt Dawson left.
I don't know if that's feasible.
We're very excited. Right. Welcome back, Nadine.
So,
No
it's on
cost
the
of training.
tape, if you didn't hear, in the non-public, and it's not sealed minutes or anything. We hired a police officer, Nadim
Opicek.
Obichek, to come back as a police officer to replace police officer that we left.
Took Matt's place.
Yep, took Matt's place. He's already trained, he's certified everything, and still his uniform is his size. So to let you know what we're talking about, just a bit unsealed.
Something good for a change.
Yeah.
Good night, Chief.
Good night, thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Look at this, I already got the PAR in front of me.
Somebody figured,
Somebody thought it was a sure thing.
Anticipated.
as it turns out, they were right.
Okay, so what else do we have on here?
Selectmen's
We got
report.
selectmen's reports. Go around the, we'll start last time. You know what, we'll start with Joe.
I don't actually have a selectmen's report today, because this is my first meeting back after last week. I would like to say that I'm glad to be here, and I'm looking forward to the process as we go forward. It's already been a whirlwind. Thank you.
Peter?
I'm good.
Catherine?
Okay.
You got 3 minutes.
I better talk fast, huh?
Microphone nice and close.
Don't think it, does it work? Is it, so I have to talk like this? Oh,
Ideally, the people would love
wow.
All right, number one, we need to remember to add Manville Road, the tree removal, the first area and this new area to the mow list. When I was down there last, I noticed that where we previously took the trees down and stumped is already growing up. So we're gonna have suckers and whatnot if we don't keep that
Brush
put down. Yeah.
If you're gonna do that, then you better go back down by the sediment ponds and do a little grade work, because it never was done after the stumps were ground.
Okay, well,
Public Works will have to look at it, but I,
Never mowed that area.
no, but I'm saying if you don't, it'll turn back into scrub.
Is that something that we can do one of the mulch?
They can do it with weed whackers, they can do it with all kinds of stuff. Leave it up to them to figure it
brush
out, but they
under
need to get
control.
it brushed
Do you
down.
not have a side attachment
Yeah.
for brush hogging? No?
We could, but there is an attachment we could get, but we didn't get it.
They can do it with trimmers, with blades.
Yeah, as long as it
money.
isn't too big already, trimmers will do it, right?
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna leave some of these off because I was gonna ask about repairing the damage in the park, so it's gonna have to wait. So, the posts were ordered, but the posts weren't put in. Unless you want to subcontract and hire it out, it would be a more expensive way of doing it rather than having Public Works do it.
What
Which post?
post, the
Oh,
granite ones?
Riverfront Park, the granite posts and the chains.
Can Public Works do it?
Yeah,
I did it before, didn't I?
yeah, that's, I mean,
Dennis is
no,
fine.
Dennis has replaced them before, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm kind of spoiled that
What
we've
he's
been
got
just
going on.
there.
Well, with
I
people
put in
there,
concrete posts myself, so I think Public Works could do it.
I'm sure, yeah.
What would the priority be on that? Because I know we have a lot of stuff that we prioritize. Is it like?
It's a nice
one
park,
urgent?
it's a nice park, it's looking a little shabby, and it's been almost a year now. So, I mean,
So
of
whenever they can
course,
fit it in?
yeah, I mean,
Compared
of
to other
course,
things.
there's other things, you know, the mowing needs to be done, and the cemeteries need to be upkept and all that, but they should be able to fit it in, it's part of the day. That isn't a lot of time.
how many are there, granite
I
posts?
believe there's, I'm gonna say 5, there might be 6.
They took out that many or?
So they came along the side, and
Oh,
then
it's
there's,
the others.
they go in as well. So when he came, he went, and then took down the lamppost.
That section.
Yeah. Carter will take care of the lamppost. And the bollards over here by the water district weren't put in. And that is important because years ago, the Bureau of Rails wanted us to upgrade that crossing because it was an automobile crossing, and we said we will discontinue it. We will physically discontinue that as a vehicle crossing. So if we don't put the bollards back up, so it is discontinued, I really don't want them to have an excuse to say to us, fix that crossing.
Yeah, that's another thing. Can we
But
put
that's-
these on a list?
We're just, make a list and we'll make sure that.
Make sure that it gets to Public Works?
I mean, it's on our own business anyhow.
Right, so I just,
After your agenda,
yeah. And it's like Riverfront Park. And I'm asking the Board of Selectmen, not the park commissioners, because it's not in their budget. We have the insurance money, it came to the Board of Selectmen. If you feel that I should subcontract it out, I can do that. Or we can do that. To help us put back in.
I think something like that was damages that, and insurance that the money was paid to the town for us to hire out, and the money went to the town's general fund for that. So either the Public Works
would we
would do
hire
it,
out?
or we would hire it out. But
Who would we get?
appropriately with.
I'd have to ask Joyce, but I do believe Joyce had a bid on it, so we could ask her who did it. Somebody bid putting those in, I just don't know who that was.
If we get input from the Public Works, see if they can squeeze it in for
Okay.
that, but tell them there are other options for us.
All right, so we could, we'll have Joyce ask them if they could get it, or if they, okay.
Prefer that we do.
And I do believe we should have a discussion, tonight about what we want to discuss with the Northfield Selectmen. And the other one is really housekeeping, so Winding Hill Brook shows up on our maps and stuff. That is the brook that comes down from Lancaster Hill Road, goes down behind my property, my brother's property, crosses Route 3, and then goes down to Silver Lake. Town meeting changed the name of that to Bamford they changed it back to Bamford Brook. It was Bamford Brook. And in 1988, Article 14, to see if the town will vote to reinstate the name Bamford Brook to the stream in Lochmere now referred to as Winding Hill Brook, and it passed. So each time we have these maps done, we're not correcting that. And the Bamfords were the first settlers in that area.
Well, it's a matter of.
And I'm bringing it up because now we have a letter that refers to Winding Hill Brook.
We reply back to the letter, so you have an incorrect in what town land use know.
Just
I would just let land use know. I'd like to let whoever is in charge of changing these maps, the tax maps and whatnot, that we need to make that change. We've already changed the tax maps a couple of times, updated them. Well, they need, I would make a special expense. The next time they're updated, it should be changed back to honor those
And there should be an
residents
ongoing list
and that town meeting
when
vote.
there's enough to
Yeah.
change it. then.
We are completely disregarding the town meeting vote. And that's it, the other two can wait. I already talked to Joe, I gotta sign it. I already talked to Joyce about the letter. Oh, to our legislative representatives and our senators on the veto. Done.
Okay, we'll go next.
I talked with, do you remember what the gentleman that applied late via email for the selectman, interim selectman's position? I was in contact with them afterwards and said that there was a couple of positions open. So we have to really think about getting the word out for zoning board, because Joe now has to step down and they have a meeting coming up, and I'm not sure that there's going to be a quorum.
I'm gonna be speaking with Gary. I thought he was gonna be here today, but he wasn't.
Okay.
Oh, not when I got here anyway, and officially resigned, submit a letter.
Okay. So with you resigning, how many does that leave on the zoning board?
At least 4. I was an alternate at one point, and
Who's the
moved up to the chair. I think Eric Pyra is the other alternate, I think.
I thought he was a member.
He might be, no, he wasn't. So last time I was there he was, but I believe that he was an alternate just like me. But it didn't start out as being, there were other people sitting on the zoning board,
Okay.
and they moved me up. In any case, I'll get with Dory and I will send a message to the
So
chairman.
I think, right, and I don't have any problem with that portion of it.
Mhm.
What I'm trying to say is, I think we should reach out to, Todd and this other person, Mike Weatherby, his name is, and see if they would like to be part of
Absolutely.
the community and volunteer as part of that.
Planning needs alternate members as well. We couldn't hold our.
Planning does too.
We couldn't hold our last meeting because we didn't have one.
I know James stuff.
So that was,
That's part of the one.
Yeah. It's a big responsibility and all, but it's a fulfilling one as well, because I started in planning.
So,
Planning geek.
yeah. Speaking of planning geek, I'm the alternate ex officio, if you'd like to take over the alternate ex officio.
My
I have
understanding
no
is
problem with
that the previous selectman had no portfolio as it was.
Right.
Uh,
I mean, if-
That's a
I don't
conversation
care
for
if it's
another
done
time, but I would be glad to sit behind Catherine.
Doesn't-
I assume you're the ex officio? Yeah. Well, it takes planning geeks to make the planning department go.
And that kind of frees me up to sit in the background watching the new budget committee do the new budgeting, which I'm so excited about.
So,
Hold the
that.
breath.
That's it.
Okay, did you like the Peter? Okay, so I had a couple things.
Not
Gonna
hurt you.
Well, like you, John, hadn't gone yet.
Okay. I say not. Okay, so I had a brief discussion at what came up with Jim Cropsey. They've been having trouble getting any type of response from the insurance company from True Green. His insurance company has not heard anything back, despite numerous requests and information and all of that. They're completely ignoring it. And apparently that's been happening with other claimants on that. So we might be in for quite the row here for waiting for stuff, or and we might have to take a more proactive stance. I don't know if DOT is actually going to pursue it as much. A lot of times if people do damages to public property, DOT sometimes just sort of fixes it or lets go because there's nobody with a good, strong, active interest. So we may have to step up to the plate here,
We have no claim name. But
and that's where I'm leaving it.
I wish the chief was here because maybe we could have asked him to make a phone call.
And our new administrator, all that.
Maybe
So,
the chief of police would have some vocabulary.
so we,
We asked him
That
to
would be a
call.
good place to start, right?
So
and,
can
you know,
we
what-
authorize John to talk to the chief and see if he would contact that insurance company?
Well, I would be in favor of that.
yeah, anything at all, I would say, to, you know,
What you think?
Um,
Does the chief try calling him and say, look, we've got damages in the town of Tilton?
we'll have somebody call you back.
Many people applying, and
Yep.
why isn't anyone from your organization getting in contact?
And also call anybody else who's making a claim. Is the DOT doing it?
As far as I know, the way I left it with DOT, I put them in contact with Jim Cropsey.
So
I figured the town should step out.
they should, but you know, I'm also looking at public safety and things like that with winter coming up and plowing and those type of things, because this could sit there for 5 years like that. So we need to, I don't want our town to look like that. I don't know what we can do, but I think we need to do something.
I have the chief call.
Start with the chief.
And so that's where that is with that one. And that's it. The only other thing I had is to announce that the Laconia Indian Historical Association is having their 48th annual powwow on Labor Day, and everybody's welcome to go over there. Sunday they're having the biggest feast in the East. There's no charge for that meal, big turkey pit dinner. It's in Laconia, in Samberton, at the Dulac Land Trust, off Osgood Road. That's all I have.
I have one more thing. While Joyce is in here, what are we gonna give for a gift? Okay, so do we need to decide how much? Okay,
That's what we did with.
does everyone understand that?
Actually, I did.
Okay, so I make a motion.
Say what?
I make a motion that we make that happen.
I'll second that motion that we make that happen.
Okay.
I'll aye that motion.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to
We
make,
haven't discussed what we're gonna talk to about with Northfield.
that's true. I thought we had an agenda already. We were gonna talk about the island, the deed.
That wasn't even the main reason we were gonna go over there.
Okay, and this
So they wanna,
The painting?
Do they need to know this beforehand?
I,
Or will they just need to know?
well, it doesn't matter if they know beforehand.
Okay.
I don't
yeah,
think.
no, it would be nice for them to know so that they can be
Wait.
prepared.
So, this all came up because, Brock let us know that they haven't been doing their half the maintenance on the island.
It was drawn from our
Well,
agreement.
it was more that they weren't doing a good enough job.
At all. Speaking of which, there's a broken tree
Right.
up broken branch that's just hanging there.
Yeah, like a neck breaker.
Yes.
Big one.
Widowmaker.
So,
Yeah.
right, so, and that's been there for a while, I understand.
I just saw
They
it
took
last
care
week.
of, they took care of the ones that I had the pictures of.
Oh, you
They
did?
went over and
You
did
know,
them.
this is way up in the
So
air.
who took care of it?
Brock took care of
So
the
our
Public Works went over and took care of it.
joint with theirs. And
But this
that's
one
been
is
the
pretty
problem.
high up, you're gonna get it, you're gonna need a ladder or a pole saw to take this down, and it's probably about this big, and it's broken and just hanging there.
There's another one
It's a good
that's
size one.
pointing straight up that's 6 inches in diameter that's dead.
Good snap,
Yeah,
just snap
like
off.
the next
I had
spring.
one of those big long extension,
I have one.
but I don't know too much.
But no, yeah, maintenance,
So I think
painting,
we all need to be, what painting?
the bridge.
Oh, that's right, painting the bridge.
They don't want to, they said they didn't want to.
And we- and they want us to take it over, that's what they really want us to do. There's nothing for us to do, the towns both have voted for us to take it over. And if Attorney Philpott thinks that we can just take it over with the same deal that Scott McGuffin did with the Sandogany church that was over there, then if that's possible, say pray or whatever it was, that legal business it was, that process, if we can do that, then it's just a matter of going through the process, and then we have the island, we don't have to worry about it. And that's, I think, what Northfield is saying, that why should we spend all this money on painting and DES and on the bridge if in fact you folks want to take it over because they have inside information and it may not have to go through all this process of the heirs and so on and so forth.
If it's routine maintenance, it has to go on day to day, week to week, up until that time. Yeah, until that time, we still have to maintain up until then. We're both equally responsible for it.
Right,
So,
until it's
cutting the branch
transferred.
down to keep people from getting injured,
You can't put your hand on the railing without getting it, with all the
it's
pieces
chipping up
of
pretty good.
Right, so
It's gonna
chipping
need
or.
to be sandblasted, and that's expensive over a river.
they're gonna have to dress it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's only a couple of companies that do that, but,
that's gonna be.
so I just wanted to make sure we were all on the same page of why we were going over there. This news and the deeds and stuff was added on too.
How many are going over?
I'll be
I
there.
plan to.
Try.
Mr. Chair.
All right, we have no idea.
We have,
I got a question on the island.
shoot, go ahead.
Going
Would you want
back
to get
to,
to the mic or?
no, going back to town meeting, can somebody to refresh my memory as to what the voting body, we just talked about exploring, not approving any money. There's now an attorney involved, who's paying for that?
We did approve some money for,
Okay.
yeah,
We
it was a very small amount just for looking at it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was
It's
wondering,
Lonzo, and we're not paying for building that.
so if Northfield has to give up the island, do we still have to go to town meeting and the
Yes.
voting body has to accept
Yep.
it or
Yes.
deny it?
That does
Yeah.
come up at the
Okay.
next
Yeah.
meeting.
They still have to do
Gotcha.
that, right.
In my opinion is, although their attorney says, sure, take it, it's all clear, I want our attorney to tell us.
Yeah, if you've
No,
ever
yeah,
read
it's your-
that-
Yeah, so we don't do it all, and then they,
If
yeah.
you've ever read that deed, it's pretty clear
I thought it was,
that you
can't do
you
that.
just
yeah.
go, here, we don't want it, you get the deed.
But if you read the deed in that church on St. Doggy Park, it's almost identical to the deed with the island.
Right.
And they were able to do it with,
They did something, yeah, they didn't just say, here, you can have it.
no, they
They
didn't.
had to go through a process.
That's correct.
But
They
you've
went through a
got
process.
Union Sanborn School, that's under the same radar with the school district, and they think their I's are dotted and T's are crossed, and they're not. Regarding the areas,
Well,
they think they're.
We should have it reviewed by our attorney regardless of what.
Let's see what they have to say in the process and all of that.
But our main reason for going there is that they need to participate in the
In the
maintenance of that
maintenance.
island.
Right.
It's not fair to our taxpayers to put.
And it's not fair to the residents.
And my understanding is they haven't been partaking in the normal routine lawn maintenance for
Nope.
over a year,
Nope.
which I didn't know.
Nope.
So we need a new post.
Oh,
Maybe they
that's
can
right.
take care of that.
Yes, the post, I went downstairs, personally went downstairs to see, I don't know the story about the one that got broken, but we need a new lamp post because one did get broken. But we have 4 lampshades and a box of globes, but no posts. We thought that we had an extra post, but there are none downstairs, and we looked in the mezzanine at the highway, and there are none.
The post that was damaged is irreparable.
They might be able
Brock
to
said
fix
they
it.
may be able to fix it, it's cast aluminum, Kevin might be able, Kevin can work some magically, he
Yeah,
might
he's
be
a
able
good
to.
welder.
Let
Yeah.
Tigger make it.
Yeah, you can't, it's not set for aluminum, from what I heard. But, yeah, it can be welded.
It's gonna be less expensive than trying to find a new,
Well,
I would think.
Well,
What
the
if the-
company and everything is on the box, on the shades and everything, so.
Yeah.
one of the things we do have the top pieces and
Globes.
and the globes.
Mhm.
So all we need is the post part, so.
But the,
Where it
the
connects
globe
to the base.
in the shade did not get broken, right?
I have no idea, maybe we can see.
Those are pretty standard bases.
I'll have to go downstairs in the closet now, it's down
Oh, it's down here?
in the closet by the bulkhead.
Right there.
Way, so if you look at the closet, it's way on the right-hand side. Don't mistake it for the 20 or 30 boxes of purple bags that are in that closet.
Also, maybe somebody can take a,
Cases, yes.
somebody can take a picture of it with, like a tape measure so that you can maybe send it to the company and say, you got one of
Before
those.
we leave, I'll go down and take a picture of the box
Okay.
and send it to you.
All right.
At the broken part, so.
There's 2 boxes, there's a globe and there's a shade. I'll take the box that's closest. Take a picture of it and send it to you.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Move on your feet.
Opposed?
That's an aye. I left it over there, I always did it. It's really great to be back.